I would like to tell you all the story of a boy named Jimmy Smith. Now, Jimmy is a child who has autism. And throughout his entire life, he's been dealing with struggles, as has his parents. And we believe that it is unfair to allow Jimmy to struggle anymore. We believe that your organization should continue doing what it's doing and try its very best to help out these children who have been going through so much struggle and hardship, which is why we're recommending that you stay or you incorporate as a not-for-profit. As the quote said, "It made me feel real, valid, and loved." Your organization made Jimmy feel real, valid, and loved. My name is Stefan. With me here today, I have Haley and Rod. And we're here to tell you today, Melissa Dawes, we're here to tell you today how your organization can grow sustainably in the future while still remaining a not-for-profit organization. So, what do we want you to do? As I said, we want you to help Jimmy, and we want you to help his family by alleviating the stress and alleviating the hardships that they have been going through their whole lives. And we recommend that in the future you expand your operation to continue to impact more and more of these autistic individuals in the long term. So Haley's going to go over a brief situational analysis as well as issue identification. Rod will then go over a decision analysis and recommendation. And finally, I'll end it off with an implementation and some risks and mitigation. So, upon analysis of your organization, we determined that operating in 10 cities by 2018 was a little bit too ambitious of a goal for your organization. And there are a couple of issues behind that, including not having enough staff or the resources available to do this at this time. So what we recommend is that you develop a sponsorship system that will provide you with continual funds for years of future growth, hire more staff in order to handle more capacity, incorporate as a not-for-profit so that you can subsidize the actual cost of the class itself to alleviate the hardships from the autistic individuals, and ultimately move into the new building in the short term. This impact is just going to generate an NPV of $600,000 over 2 years at a 20% discount rate, and ultimately you'll be impacting 30 clients by the end of your second year. So I'm going to hand it over to Haley now to talk about the stakeholders.
Thank you, Stefan. So, who is affected by your organization? Obviously, mainly are the beneficiaries, those autistic children. What do they want? They want programs to help them with those autistic challenges. We believe that our recommendation is going to allow you to do so. The facilitators, they want to feel like they're making a difference in the people that are living with autism. And we believe that our recommendation is going to continue allowing them to do this once you leave your incubator. Donors, they want to feel connected to the cause. They're giving their money to help you with your organization. They want to feel like they're being philanthropic and helping them. And your employees, they want to have long-term sustainability for your organization. So when looking at Cognitive Interactive, we're going to break it down into your beneficiaries, the programs you have currently, the capabilities, and a brief external analysis as well. So when you look at your beneficiaries, you're focusing mainly on teens and adults, and you've suggested expanding to children. We don't believe this is the best idea, as there are a lot of competitors out there right now. So your program, you allow them to develop social skills through exploring video game industry in a low anxiety and collaborative environment. They're going to develop social learning activities, networking guidance into video game software development firms. And it allows your clients to hire locally as well, having those jobs opportunities for people who are living with autism. So your programs, you currently have 3 programs. You have the coding programs, the intermediate game design, as well as advanced game design. All great programs, and you have thought for your vision to have extended with 2 more additional programs. We do believe that this is possible, and Rod is going to go through that in our recommendation. When you look at your internal organization right now, in the incubator, you only have yourself and 2 support staff. You're going to need to expand this staff if you want to go bigger. So Rod is going to recommend who to hire as well. Your facilitators right now, you have a very rigorous interview process. This is great, especially you're going to be working with autistic kids. You really need that. You also have the police check, and you have intensive training. So we believe that that is a great program that's currently being held. So looking externally, your program, yes, you do charge your beneficiaries for them, but there are a lot of funding opportunities for them to help cover these costs as well. With our sponsorship program, we believe we can subsidize the costs of this as well. There's a lot of programs focused on autistic children, which is why we recommend just focusing on kids who are ages 12 and above, just to narrow it down. As well, through that, the entertainment software companies, we believe that through our recommendation, they'll be looking at hiring your beneficiaries in the future as well, which is great for sponsorship as well. So looking at the issue identification, is Cognitive Interactive's future strategic goals feasible? We do not believe so. When looking at that, we broke it down into internal and external analysis. So operationally, we've looked at resources and marketing as the main issues. As marketing, we really want to target more of those B2B. The customers as well, and resources, the staffing, as I've said, we need to hire more staff. And revenue, we need to increase revenue if we want to increase your organization. So our issue identification, our problem statement for today is how can Cognitive Interactive ensure sustainable future growth without compromising its mission? I'm now going to pass it off to Rod now to go over our decision analysis.
Thank you, Haley. So we broke down your revenue streams into external and internal, just like we did our issue identification. So externally, this kind of means the money that you're getting from your beneficiaries or the people that are taking your services, and internally would be the money that you would get from the program you suggested, the associate sites, or the program fees itself. So upon analysis, we do think you should focus on the sponsorship instead of focusing on those donations and those grants that aren't necessarily secure. So we think sponsorship and our sponsorship system is going to be great for you guys in the future. So we broke down staff or resources into staff and location. Location being where you're hosting your classes at the moment. We do think you need to focus on both of these, as you are a little understaffed, and coming out of the incubator, you're going to need more people to help motivate your vision. And the location, we do suggest that you do go with the new building, so that you have more space and you're able to cut down on costs such as your computers and stuff like that. And I'll go over that a little bit further. And then marketing. So we could market to the beneficiaries themselves, or we could look at sponsorship from outside organizations. And we do believe the best option is to go business to business, as you already have a lot of those contacts. As you mentioned, you do have over 100 contacts with entertainment firms, and we do think you can leverage these contacts to get great sponsorship. So as I said, the affiliate sites is not something that we suggest you go with now. Expanding to these cities and giving organizations, which would be technically umbrella organizations under you, giving them the autonomy to motivate your vision doesn't necessarily mean it'll go the right way. You could lose control of your organization, and they might expand the scope too much, and you might just lose control of it altogether. And so this could also go with a tarnished reputation. If something goes south in a different city and you're not there to take care of it, this could bring your whole organization down. And so we don't think this is a good way to go. And you will be able to generate longer-term revenues with the recommendation we have set forth today. So what do we want you to do today in our recommendation? As Haley mentioned, we want you to incorporate, as a not-for-profit, incorporate our sponsorship system to secure that a sustainable revenue source, and market to businesses to be able to get the sponsorship system off the ground. And as I mentioned, get your staff hired and move into this new location so you do have the free space, and change your programs. I know it's a little bit much, but just hang on there, and I promise you it'll be worth it. So as a not-for-profit, your big question was, do we go for-profit or do we go not-for-profit? And the answer is that you can be both. You can be a social enterprise and still be a not-for-profit. Incorporating in Part 9 of the Business Act as a not-for-profit allows you to run your business as a profit-generating business, but simply you put the funds back into your organization to continue to motivate your goals. And so we do suggest you do that. Run your not-for-profit as a social enterprise, as you wanted to do, but still be a legal entity, not-for-profit. This will allow you to be tax-free, and you'll be able to hire those volunteers. I'm sure you know that staffing can jack up your costs a lot. And so as a not-for-profit, you'll be able to hire those volunteers to really cut down those costs. And you will need that when you open this new building. and a sponsorship system. So this is where businesses will be able to sponsor a computer. So this is the idea that the sponsor is going to be able to show that they actually care for the student. So they'll be able to sponsor this computer, and I'll show you the hierarchy in a little bit here. They'll be able to sponsor a computer and give a student a year's worth of fees to be able to go through this program. And with the sponsorship system, we'll be able to subsidize up to half of the cost. As Haley mentioned, there are lots of opportunities out there, but the greatest one, your March break one, only covers $100 of that. And as Jimmy's story here, if you're a family already in financial need, plus your kid has autism, we don't want you to have to take up any more costs. So we're able to with this new system, able to subsidize half of those costs, $250. And most of the grants do cover up to $350, so your cost won't be too much with this. So this is what the system's going to look like. You'll be able to sponsor a computer for 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, or you'll be able to sponsor the room completely for a total of $375,000. This is the desired sponsor that we'd like. This is based on this new location having 2 rooms, 15 seats each room for the students. So you'll be able to sponsor, for a year you can sponsor 15 of these chairs where students will be taking the lessons, 10 for the 2 year, and so on. And so the benefits, what are the sponsors going to get out of this? They're going to be able to interact with the students. You'll allow them to come in, interact with the students, and even give guest lectures to show what your organization is about and how you can provide value to maybe a future employer, or a future employee, forgive me. And of course, a plaque to acknowledge your sponsor. Sponsors love to feel like they're being acknowledged, and we think this is a great way of doing that. And so the marketing, real, valid, loved. We want everyone to feel like Jimmy, real, valid, and loved. And this is what we're going to base our marketing on, to really show those businesses that their sponsorship is really going to make people like Jimmy feel real, valid, and loved. And we'll be able to, I'll go over a little bit the hiring. As I mentioned, the staff change. We are going to hire, we do suggest that you hire a development professional to handle these one-on-one relationships, as well as a marketing director to deal with this marketing. So your staffing and location. We do suggest that you hire 3 people off the bat here. Have a development professional to really create those one-on-one relationships and to really get your sponsorship system off the floor. And this goes in tandem with your marketing professional. They're going to be out there really relaying your message, that real valid love, to show sponsors that your organization really has a strong vision and a strong mission. And then your volunteer coordinator. As I mentioned, a huge benefit of going as a not-for-profit as opposed to a for-profit is now you're able to hire volunteers and you can cut back on the staffing costs. And so this is what the volunteer coordinator is going to do. He's going to be in charge of all that. And then the location. So in the short term, Stefan will go a little bit how that's going to look like in the future. We do suggest you go with the building. This will cut down your costs immensely. You will now, along with our implementation, there's a cost to buying the computers and the software, which will cut down your costs immensely for each of those courses. We understand it's an upfront cost, but it'll be completely worth it with the benefits that come with it. And the program. So as you mentioned, you did want to implement those 2 new programs, and we do suggest you do that. With this once this new building comes in, you'll have these 2 new rooms with 15 chairs each. You'll be able to host a lot more people than you are right now, and so your costs won't be as high. Right now, you're almost at a loss because you're paying a lot for the room rentals and for the software rental. And so with the new room, we truly believe you'll be able to accommodate all these people and continue to help people like Jimmy and his family. And we just suggest you focus on those kids 12 and up. As Haley mentioned, there's a lot of competitors in the market right now, all looking for funding, and we truly believe that your organization is able to help those people, those kids who are a little bit older, and let those organizations who are already in the area kind of focus on the kids. And this will give you about $270,000 in program revenue by the end of year 2, again, when that building comes through. And I'll pass it off to Stefan to show you how we're going to put this plan in place.
Thanks, Rod. So, how are we going to grow your organization, and how are we going to help out Jimmy? So, we're going to do that by leveraging connections. Your organization is already connected with over 100 different software and video game companies. And this really allows you to secure that sponsorship. We recommend you go after these companies, get that sponsorship, and make them an integral part of your organization. The technology. By providing future employers to these organizations, it gives a direct benefit to the entertainment software companies, and we're using the technology in order to leverage that, in order to teach these kids applicable skills that they could use in the future. Finally, prosperity. This strong NFP model is going to ensure financial sustainability in the future with financial revenue streams coming in that will allow you not only to remain sustainable, but to grow in the future as your organization grows. If only the pointer worked as well as your organization did. Okay, so here's some brief financial analysis here. As you can see, in the first year, currently where we're at, the revenues revenues and costs are such that you are not getting any profit in the first year. That's okay. As we move into the second year, your organization will be generating enough revenue through the sponsorship streams to make a positive profit, and then as you see in the third year, you will continue to gain gain revenues and to become a stronger organization year by year. The reason we recommend that you don't move forward with this huge implementation plan that you had with the 10 cities by 2018 is because right now you only have 120 students. And there is a market of 12,500. That's 5% of the 250,000 market. If you're only reaching 120 right now, we just don't see that it's feasible that you go up by 10,000 new beneficiaries in 2 years. So which is why we recommend that you stay local for the moment, build up your revenue streams, and then in the future move forward and create and move into those different cities. So some quick implementation here. First, we recommend that you hire staff. So this is your marketing, your development, as well as your volunteer coordinator. So in the first quarter, so here in January, we recommend that you get those job postings, hold those interviews, and ultimately hire the coordinators by the end of the second quarter. Afterwards, we then recommend that you put this sponsorship system into place. And this includes holding the meeting with the development director, creating the sponsorship hierarchy, as Rod has mentioned, and developing those one-on-one business relationships. It's going to be very easy to develop these relationships as you already are in touch with such a big group of different organizations that you can have, that you've already had experience handling with, that know the good that you do, and that want to help out. So in the next year, we recommend that you move into the new location. So in the first year, you'll still be operating out of the university, but once you've secured enough funds, enough revenue from the sponsorship, you'll be able to move into your new location. So within the first quarter, we recommend that you negotiate the lease and then get all of the different furnishings as well as computers. Afterwards, we recommend that you leverage your volunteer director in order to bring on the volunteers to begin staffing that new location and handling the increase in capacity. Afterwards, we then recommend you move into this new location and start your new programs as your vision declared. So, how are we going to know if this is working? Some key performance indicators we have for you here, some leading ones, is that there's sponsorship interest shown by 5 companies by the third quarter in 2015. Some lagging ones, $150,000 in sponsorship raised by the end of year 1, and $300,000 in sponsorship raised by the end of year 2. So what this is going to do for you is it's going to allow you to grow your revenue streams in a sustainable manner and ultimately allow you to grow and expand your organization in the future. So another leading one is hiring interest shown by 10 companies at the end of year 1. This is just to ensure that your program is doing what it set out to do, to alleviate the stress caused on the beneficiaries of your organization, and that they're actually making your organization's actually causing some good. And at the end, we recommend looking for at least 20 positive testimonials from sponsors and clients by the end of year 2. So this means that the sponsors are happy, the clients are happy, and you already have plenty of positive testimonials. We're sure this is not going to be an issue for you. Some risk and mitigation here. Obviously, a big one is that you don't meet your sponsorship goals. However, we're going to mitigate this by continuing to charge program fees, albeit at a subsidized cost, as Rod mentioned, cutting it in half. So only $250 instead of $500. But ultimately, the contingency for that is to not move into the new building. If you're not making your sponsorship goals in the first year, we don't want you taking any big steps, so you can just dial it back a little bit. Next, there's not enough program interest shown from the individuals. Again, we don't see this being an issue, but by communicating the added sponsor benefit, you'll be able to really drive home the key benefits of your organization. And a contingency of this is to develop a B2C marketing plan to just get into the actual market itself and garner up some more interest. Finally, you can't find any suitable hiring candidates. We recommend having the 6-month period. It's a long amount of time to find that. And ultimately, if that doesn't work out, then just to delay the implementation of the plan itself. So, as we mentioned, we believe that currently your goals are a little bit too ambitious. But by hiring more staff, developing a sponsorship system, incorporating an NFP, and moving into the new building, your organization will be able to grow in the future. You'll be able to generate $600,000 over 2 years at a 20% discount rate and impact more people like Jimmy and continue to help the autistic children. So thank you very much. We'll take questions now.
Okay, so I have a question about sort of putting all my eggs into one sponsorship basket a little bit. You know, as a nonprofit, I get that there's no money, there's no mission. So can you give me some confidence that this sponsorship stuff is going to happen? Because if there's no sponsorship, I really don't see there even being financial support for this business whatsoever.
Absolutely, I'll take this question. So we truly believe that your organization right now, your mission is very much aligned with the companies that you're working with. These 100+ companies that are coming in on a daily basis and working with your organization. Now, they're willing to donate their time. I'm absolutely positive they're willing to donate the money as well. And you have a huge pool to work from. As well as none of these companies are working with any kind of different disabled programs such as yourself. And so it allows you a huge access to a completely exclusive pool. So we are confident you can raise $150,000 the first year, and more so as the years come.
Hiring staff quickly. How do I live? Like, I'm trying to get $60,000 a year out of the company. That's not till year 2. So, is this the wise thing to do? Will I get my $60,000?
We certainly understand that you are looking to get a little bit out of this as you have put a lot of work in it, but the reality of startups is the first few years are hard. They're certainly not easy to get a return, but with our recommendation, we truly believe that in 5 years' time, you'll definitely be able to get your salary plus more.
So as like a sponsorship, you have on your impact there only 30 clients. So if I were to give $150,000, I'm only going to help a very small portion of the 250,000 estimated children with autism. So what's the value proposition for me as a sponsor when I can go to Ontario Autism or something to help all the people instead of just 30?
I'll take that question. So part of the benefit that will be given to the sponsors is that they are looking for the hires in the future. So it's an investment in the company's future. Additionally, it aligns extremely well with the missions. You can go to any autism, like these big tech companies can go to any autism foundation and help kids with autism, yes, but not in a specific way that your organization is doing right now. And so it is exactly aligned with that. And also it is building towards future growth as well, as these revenues will generally eventually be going into the expansion of your organization through the different cities in Ontario.
Could we expand to a couple cities? I see your focused recommendation stating, but could we, is there an opportunity to try and expand to a few cities in this model?
I can take that question. So right now, we're just going to focus on your current location, but in the future, we definitely see that as a possibility. As Steph in his financial analysis said, there is a long-term growth, so we do believe that eventually you can definitely expand to future cities.
Thank you.
If there are no more questions, thank you very much.